In this video, I want to break down one of my favorite books, one of the books that's been most influential to me in my life. I read about 2 books a week on average over the last 20 years. And this is one of the first books that led me down this path. I was in my dad's office when I was younger. I was like 17. I just graduated from high school and I was about to go to college to Howard University. I was just chilling with my dad in his office and he had this bookshelf of books he never read. He didn't read. He was just like a real street dude and who just figured out a way to make some money, right? And I saw this book called Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. And I was like, yo, Dad, can I read this? He said, man, you can have it. I ain't reading that. I was like, cool. Them books are just decoration for him. I read the books behind me, but you know, so it's all good, man. Different shit. I read the book and it really changed my life. It changed the way that I looked at the world, right? I'm a different person before I read this book. And this is probably the book that I've given away most to people, right? As for gifts or books that I think will help them. So Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. This book is broken down into about 11 different sections, but I'm only going to cover the ones that were most impactful to me. I suggest you actually read the whole book. Do not get the audiobook. The audiobook is trash. Tony should be ashamed of himself, right? Because the audiobook is an abridged version of it. It's not even the same content, man. Do not get the audiobook. It's a scam. It's not the same shit. You got to get the physical book. So check this out. The first part, Tony was talking about the power of decisions, and he really broke down what decisions are. So a lot of times people say they want to do something or they're trying to do something. I hate that. I don't let people around me say try. They say, man, I'm trying to do this. Like, what the fuck is you, a fucking try baby? Like, yeah, my students who I coach how to build an online business, one dude said, yeah, I'm trying to get more leads. I said, you what? He said, I'm trying. Oh, what? We don't use that profanity around here. We don't use the T word. We not try babies. He said he's trying to get more leads. Like, no, you need to decide to get more leads. There's a difference between trying to do something like a bitch and saying, oh, I'm going to do this no matter what. Difference between setting a standard and just wanting something. What Tony says is you don't get what you want, you only get what you have to have, right? So you got to make a decision and it has to be a must, not something you just want. So many people just want to be successful. They just want to accomplish their goals, right? No, you got to make it a must. It's got to be mandatory because you will not rise to your ambition. You will fall to your standards. Your life is actually a reflection of your standards. The life you're living, if you live in a first world country, right? If you live in some shit country where you got to walk like 8 miles for water, then I get it. You got some different problems, man. But you're probably not spending your time watching YouTube videos, man. You got to get water, nigga. Right? But if you live in a first world country, your life is a reflection of your standards. If you had to get more money, if you had to accomplish your goals, you would do it. You would be able to accomplish it. Think about all the goals that you set for yourself that you did not accomplish. Were they things you wanted or were they things you had to have? I know the answer, because if you had to have it, if you made a real decision, then you would have those things because you would put in a different kind of effort. And I learned this when my father killed himself when I was 24 and I was in a position where I had to like take care of the family now, fucking young man. And I was like, fuck, now I got to take care of my whole family. My dad left a financial mess I had to help my mother with. I had to help my sister with her son and I had to, grandma, it was all on, I feel like it was all on me instantly. Blink of an eye. My dad didn't have no insurance policies because you can't kill yourself and get insurance, right? That's a clause because it was a must for me at that point. That's when I got serious about life, man. I started waking up at 4 a.m., training people in the morning, showering at the gym, then I went to the Prada store and worked 12 hours as security guard at the Prada store. After that, I worked for my boy's moving company. And on the weekends, I trained people and then worked at my boy's barbecue restaurant in Queens, in Astoria, Queens for the rest of the day. And these are 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week. I did that for the first 2 years as my father killed himself. And I helped dig our family out of that struggle. But it had become a must. I had to make money. And this was during the recession of 08. It was during the recession of 08. So nobody was hiring. I have a college degree. Nobody was hiring. We had record levels of unemployment. They had never been that high since the Depression. It was a must. But I remember what I learned in this book. It's like when it's a must. And it kind of really made sense to me that a decision is different than a good idea. Or a decision is different than something you want or something you're trying to do. You got to decide, right? And when I look at other things in my life, I didn't want to get 1 million YouTube subscribers. I decided it was a decision. It was a must. I made sure it happened. Tried to get 1 million Instagram followers. I made a decision and it was a must. It's going to fucking happen. I didn't want to become a multi-millionaire. I decided. It all starts with that. Is it a real decision? Is it something you have to have or something you just want? No matter how many times you fall down, no matter how many setbacks you encounter, are you going to do it? That's the first part of it, or making a real decision. After that, Tony talks about like the power of beliefs, and he talks about changing limiting beliefs. Now, a lot of you guys and a lot of people people I coach, because I coach a lot of entrepreneurs, they have all these limited beliefs that got passed down from their parents. Their parents said shit like, we can't afford it, or be realistic, or be reasonable. And they don't really believe that they can accomplish these things. And they have imposter syndrome or self-limiting beliefs, all these things. I was lucky that I didn't have that. He always told me, I had great parents. They told me, you can be whatever you want. But I believed them. Here's some history of my dad. He was a real Chicago street nigga, like motherfucking street gang leader. You know, he never graduated from high school. He never knew his parents. He was an orphan. Literally grew up in the streets. You know, he had finally got a job once he stopped gang banging. He realized he was good at sales, and he got better at sales. Then he started his own business around the time I was born, right? But we were struggling. We were on the south side of Chicago. Its reputation precedes. If you want to know anything about the south side of Chicago, watch Trap Lord Voss's King Von documentary. Like, I got sent away to military school when I was in high school. I got in some trouble, you know, nothing crazy, you know, fights, skipping school, shootouts, you know, regular kid shit. And when I was around 16 in military school, my dad's business finally started taking off. We were struggling up until then. So mind you, this is 16 years. He made the decision he was going to make it. You motherfuckers try shit for a week or a day and quit. He was struggling for 16 years, and then it finally started to work. And then by the time I graduated from high school, I was 17, he was making $3 million a year. Adjusted for inflation, that would be $8 million in today's money. From a street dude, but he had to work fucking 14 years to do it without the internet. Like, legit, no cell phones, none of that. It was way more difficult. So when that motherfucker tells me I can do whatever, I can be whatever I want, I believed it because I saw him do it. Now, he later fucked up the money, and by the time I graduated from college, he was broke. He lost all his money. Then he shot himself in the head, right? Boom. So we back to square one, back to being broke again. But I saw that he did it, so I believed because I was around someone who did it. And the way you guys need to do, you need to get around people or things that make your ambition seem more real, more attainable. You got to get around people who are doing the shit, who have done the thing you're trying to do, or are on the path. Because that's going to instill your belief. Because the people around you, they have doubt. Even if you tell them to go, they might not believe in you. And it's not their fault. They're not trying to be fucking shitty. It's just you probably haven't given them no reason to believe in you yet. They're making a fair assessment of your capability up to this point. You got to get around people who make you think bigger, who make you believe more. There's a story in the Bible, you know, where Jesus walked on water. It's raining and shit. It's stormy. You know, he jumped out the boat and started walking on water. And the disciples was like, yo, Jesus, yo, how you doing that shit? That's crazy, homie. Yo, you walking on the water. And Jesus was like, this light work, man. You can do that. You can do that. Yo, Paul, get your ass out here. And then Paul went and walked on water. Paul was just a fucking dude. He was just a guy. His parents had to fuck for him to get born. Jesus, it was immaculately conceived. Paul walked on water for a minute. He was walking on the water, strutting on that bitch, right? Because he saw someone else do it. And then he believed. He saw another person do it. Now later, Paul looked at the water and he fell. He started, oh shit, I'm on water. And Jesus had picked him up. He said, yo, man, why don't you believe? You know what I'm saying? Yo, nigga, he was like, fam, you tripping right now. You out here making us look crazy, man. Right? He's just because you didn't believe, right? Oh, it wasn't Paul, it was Peter. My fault, man. I be getting them mixed up, man. Paul, Peter. Obviously, that's a fable, right? But I'm just saying, the point is, belief is contagious. I saw my dad do it, so I believed. And then when I moved to New York, even though I didn't have a lot of money, I moved into a neighborhood that was rich. I had the fucking worst apartment in the neighborhood. You could hear the Long Island Railroad go by. So if I was watching a basketball game, I had to pause it because it'd be too loud if I watch the TV, because you could hear people will go by on the train. They looking in my apartment. Across those tracks was like mansions, like multi-million-dollar mansions. And I would see it, and I would go to the gym, and those people would be in there. And I started to believe it. I started to feel like it was real. So do whatever you can do to change your environment, actually your physical environment, and get around people who increase your belief in what you can do. The next thing he talked about that I thought was super beneficial was controlling your emotions. This is probably the most important thing. Up until that point, I didn't think people can control their emotions. I never even thought about it. I just thought that shit happens and you respond to it however you are, right? Tony said you can actually control your emotions. I never really, it was like a mind fuck for me at age 17. Emotions are just basically neurochemicals going off in your brain. Emotions aren't even real. They're literally just neurochemicals going off in your brain. Serotonin, dopamine, cortisol, like these neurochemicals, different combinations of them go off in your brain, and then you feel things. They're not real. They're literally on in your head. However, they do have an impact on how you perceive the world and how you behave in the world. And if you can control your emotions, it's like a superpower. Tony gave 3 ways of how to control your emotions. One is your physiology. Motion creates emotion. The way you hold your body, the way you move. If you wanted to get tired right now, you could just start doing this, then like this. After a while, you get tired. If you want to be energetic, move the way an energetic person will move. If you want to be happy, put a happy expression on your face. There's studies that show that expressions on your face or the way you hold your body actually release different neurochemicals in your brain. And these neurochemicals are what emotions are made of. So you can change your emotional state within reason under any circumstances. You can control it or at least direct it. And then you do that by controlling your physiology. So sometimes when I see people looking all defeated and we trying to do something, like, man, look at yourself, man. You look like you defeated already. We ain't even tried, man. Get your shit together. Let's go. Fix your face. Sit up straight, man. Wipe that crazy look off your face, man. Let's go. Let's go after this. These expressions are also contagious. We have these things called mirror neurons. It's kind of the way when you see someone yawn and you might yawn, those are mirror neurons working. If I came in the room looking at you like this, I might change your emotions. But if I came in the room looking like this, I'm gonna change your emotions, right? They're contagious as well. That's why you got to curate the people you're around, because other people can impact your emotions. And that brings us to the second one. The second way to control your emotions. First is physiology. The second one is environment. It's your physical environment, also the people you're around. People can change the mood in the room. I know you've been in rooms and somebody came in all ornery or upset or angry, furious, and they changed the whole energy in the room. Or you see a happy toddler running in the room with a toy or some shit, you see everybody light up. They're contagious in that way too. You can't be around people who are always sour, who's always complaining, talking about how bad shit is, right? Because that shit is contagious. That's why wherever I go, I call myself the head of state, because I'm a control the emotional state wherever I'm at. So when I'm around people, I go in there and I'm going to control the state. I'm giving people high fives, right? What I'm doing is I'm changing their physiology. I got positive energies is exuding from me because I want to influence their state, not because I'm a nice guy, because I don't want their bullshit state to influence me. One of us got to be in charge, and it's going to be me. And as a result, hey, people like to be around me. That's what we call charisma. That's exactly what charisma is, being able to improve another person's state. But you got to control your own state to do that. You just think about it. When you walk into a room, when you interact with people, think of yourself as, I'm the head of state. You're talking to waiters. You say, hey, what's going on? You make the waiter laugh, make the waiter happy. You host at restaurants. I'm bringing the joy, because I don't want them to infect me, not because I'm a nice guy, because I don't want them to bring my state down, because emotions are like quicksand. Once you get in one, it's easier to stay in one and go deeper into it. I want to stay at a high vibration, at a high state. So everybody around me got to be like that. I curate my environment. If someone's too negative, I don't fuck with them. If they are a negative person by default, they're not going to be that way around me. In New York, we used to have an office where our employees worked before the pandemic. And I kept a trampoline in the office and on a balcony. Every time I feel like the state was bad, I'd be like, hey, everybody stop. Everybody get on a trampoline. Because remember, physiology is a way to control your emotions. You cannot jump on a trampoline and not start smiling. I've never seen it happen. The easiest way is the physiology, right? But also your environment, but also your physical environment, right? If you ever notice you in a clean room or a clean place, you feel better. You feel better, right? When your room's all messy or you in the fucking hood. The hood feels awful, bro. The hood feels hopeless. That's the worst part of it. I'm from Southside Chicago, right? And it just feels hopeless. And if you're in that environment where things feel hopeless, well, it makes a lot of sense to start selling crack and joining gangs and fucking shooting the ops. I go back to the hood. I know that those kids don't think they're going to be hedge fund managers or even alive on some real shit, So it makes fuck it. But when you can get into an environment where you can feel the hope, where you can resonate, where the hope resonates, the success resonates, then you feel like you can accomplish more, and you will behave different under those circumstances. See, emotions aren't real, but they are important because they influence behavior to a huge extent. She gives you a blowjob, but she's all you know what I'm saying? She'll do it. It's not great, but how bad can a blowjob be? So it's fine, right? But then you get another chick. She's excited. She's all fucking excited. She's diving on that bitch like a loose ball at the Super Bowl. She can't wait to gobble that motherfucker down. She been dreaming about it, man. She doing all this shit. Some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about, man. It's the same action done with different emotions has a different result. That's your life, right? The same action you can perform. If you perform it with a low vibration, you're gonna have worse results than if you perform it with a high vibration. Let's say you want to be a good father. Your job is, I want to be a good father. So you spend time with your kids. But if you're all pissed, sad, or mad, or angry, you spend time with your kids, now you influencing them in a negative way. So you might be doing more harm than good. You might be fucking them kids up, right? But if you go in there and you all excited, man, yo, let's go, man. Let's hit the fucking trampoline park, man. We going to the basketball game. Paw Patrol, what's up? You doing all types of shit like that. The kids are happy to see you, and now you bringing joy into their life. This is why emotions are important. They're not real, they're all in your head, but they are important because they influence your behavior, and that behavior influences your outcome. Third way to influence your emotions is what you focus on. Whatever you focus on, you're gonna feel, whether it's real or not. One of the homies, he left a suicide note, said he was gonna kill himself. And we couldn't find him for 2 days. I thought he was dead. I was super sad and like kind of depressed for 2 days, man, because it was one of the homies. Later they found him. Motherfucker wasn't even dead. And I'm all sad. I got sad about something that wasn't real because I focused on my dead homie, but it wasn't even real. Whatever you focus on you're gonna feel whether it's real or not. So what we need to do is focus on where we want to go instead of what's happening, right? If you're in a bad situation, focus on where you want to go. The example Tony gave, he was learning how to be a race car driver or some shit. They had this drill where they would push a button and the car would skid out of control. And the instructor said, don't look where the car is going when it starts to go out of control. Look where you want to go and you'll start going that way. And then Tony, he's in the car and they hit the button. He starts skidding towards the wall. He was supposed to look where he's supposed to go. And the instructor grabbed this motherfucker's head. And Tony got a big ass head, so I imagine it was like 2 fucking hands. And he moved it. Dude must have been a power lifter for Tony's big ass head, right? He moved his head around to where he wanted to go and then he fucking turned. You need to look at where you're going. Focus on where you're going. Focus on what you're trying to accomplish, not necessarily where you're at. Unless where you're at is good. If where you're at is good, then when you go through something bad, then you got to change that focus. It's like, yo, man, damn, I'm still doing better than I did years ago, right? If you look for the good, you'll find it, right? So you always want to control your focus. Whatever you focus on, you're going to feel, whether you want to or not. You focus on where you want to go, you're going to change your focus. And those are some of my main takeaways from Awakening the Giant Within. There's way more in there. Honestly, one of my favorite books. It's in my top 3 favorite books of all time. You should go check that out. Links in the description. But another book that you might find helpful, if you're trying to build your online fitness business, I got a free ebook called The 10 Commandments of Online Training. It'll break down exactly how to build your online fitness business. Even if you're not certified, even if you don't have a big following, click the link. It's in the description right now. All right, go check that out.